When you're in the depths of an implementation project, and I've been there in recent years, but thankfully now we're into a successful operational status, it's easy to get down in the weeds and wrapped up with the tasks that need to be done on a day-to-day basis. But you can bet that at some point, or probably numerous points, depending on your organisation you're working for, you'll be asked where you are on your overall journey from the start of the implementation to a fully operational capability. This is where, if you plan it carefully, the MuleSoft integrated blueprint can become your best friend. Now, if you take the material from the knowledge base, you're going to start with something that looks like this. The knowledge base, as I have written about in many articles on medium.com, which is a shameless plug for my blog, contains a lot of collateral assets that you can use to manage, monitor and control your implementation. But the key here is to link the steps in the playbooks and the output from the delivery approaches to the high-level picture that is shown here. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you the magic potions and formulas that will allow you to do this, because it will be individual to each and every organisation. But you will have someone in your organisation that can build a dashboard either in a tool such as Tableau, maybe Power BI if you're a Microsoft Power Platform user, or even a plain old Excel spreadsheet that will allow you to take the grassroots progress reports and take these up through, I would suggest, a limited number of reporting layers to allow you to report progress at the very high level required by the integrated blueprint. If you can do this, maybe as one of your foundational activities in the establish the foundation phase, then this will not only assist you in monitoring the implementation of the capability, but will also make ongoing operational reporting for the build to scale and measure impact phases much easier. Now, while I'm referring to ongoing operational reporting, it might be the time to look at the diagram in respect of the delivery phases of the introduction of the capability. And I hope I can make this clear. In delivery terms, the plan for success phase, activities and steps along with the establish the foundation phase, activities and steps, constitute the launch of the capability. It's important to recognise that the work in each of the three pillars will not progress at the same rate, although the work can be undertaken in parallel if you've got sufficient resources in each area. However, if you look at the work required, you will hopefully see that there are some dependencies. For example, you will have to define the platform vision and roadmap before you can implement the platform. If you look at the Catalyst knowledge base assets for this activity, you'll find that the integrated blueprint diagram has a process bar on each activity within the appropriate phase. This is obviously one way of showing progress at a high level, but many other ways of showing progress are available, and I would suggest that you keep to the method that your senior management is familiar with in order to maintain clarity. So following the launch activities, the next delivery phase is scale. But I see the boundary between launch and scale as being somewhat blurry. In my view, at this stage, before you proceed to scale in each of the pillars, you need to pause and review where you are. The activities in each pillar for the scaling work will depend, I have found at least, on the lessons learned at each stage of the launch. As an Agile coach as well as a MuleSoft ambassador, my approach has always been to plan, design, build, test and review. You carry on with what works and you change what doesn't work. And I believe that's the same is true here. For the business outcome pillar, you definitely need to review what your definition of success looks like. This needs to take into account all of the normal project concerns such as finance, staffing, training and support, to mention a few. By the time you come to scale, you should have a good idea of what your capability looks like and what you need to move forward. Review the overall success plan now to see what you want the future to look like. Having a vision of the desired business outcomes is vital in order to focus the activities in the other two pillars. In your technology delivery pillar, you will have the platform set up and running, and some things, such as where you have deployed the Anypoint platform, for example, will have been fixed. Other aspects may be more fluid, such as the projects currently running and those yet to be undertaken. By now, as an example, if you have implemented the MuleSoft Anypoint platform, you will know the number of eCores that you're using, but you will need mechanisms to predict when you will need to buy more of these, and these can be crucial business decisions with significant financial impact. Now, in addition, remembering that the Catalyst methodology promotes a separation of platform from project and a decentralized model for development, the onboarding of additional teams may require you to look at resources, training, and the establishment of governance processes to establish and protect the platform and its operational and support capabilities. These can be complex decisions, and the building of the foundational assets such as design standards, coding standards, DevOps pipelines, security policies will start to pay dividends as you scale the platform. One of the most important activities during both the launch and the scale phases is communication and evangelization. During the launch phase, it's vital to communicate with the rest of the organisation what you're doing and to build interest and enthusiasm of the innovation that integration can bring to the business. The business will want to start thinking about how they can change their ways of working, how they can drive the business forward, and what additional opportunities the integration capabilities can bring. On the technical side, IT colleagues will want to understand what they can do to help and be engaged with the project. Now, some teams will need to prepare to deliver assets in the decentralized model that Catalyst encourages, so may need to look at recruitment, training, and the build of support processes within their areas. Evangelization, as I hope you can see by now, is such an important area in the scaling of the delivery. So you need to be prepared to answer everything from very basic questions right through the whole spectrum to detailed and complex questions about every aspect of the capability. One last word on scaling. If your capability is successful in its launch and scaling starts, then scaling should never stop. The period in which you can refresh your overall success plan may shorten or lengthen depending on, to a certain extent, on how your business grows and how it's financed. Your platform will always need to be expanded to support new business requirements, and the training of staff will become an ongoing activity both centrally for the C3 team and for the decentralized teams that are enhancing the offerings of the platform. Now, the final activity represented in the integrated blueprint is optimize, which covers the measure impact phase. Again, how you do this will be very specific to your own business. I could provide details of how this was done in the implementation of the MuleSoft Anypoint platform that I was involved in, but this would certainly be completely different to your own. How a business measures value or assesses the impact of the platform and projects will depend on many different and widely varying criteria. The important thing here is that you do look at measuring value, and you do look at this not only from an implementation point of view, but also from an ongoing activity point of view. So in conclusion then, I've looked at the MuleSoft Catalyst integrated blueprint, which relates to the implementation of any MuleSoft capability. In my case, this was the MuleSoft Anypoint platform, and its capability in the development, management, and support of APIs. The blueprint, as I've hopefully explained, is a high-level view of the progress of the implementation of a capability. Underneath that high-level view, you may do well to construct processes to measure KPIs at a lower level and feed these up to the high-level summary for senior managers. This will provide ongoing benefits as high-level information, in my experience at least, always leads to detailed questions that you will need to answer. For some implementations, the integrated blueprint may stop when the capability enters production status, but the activities around scaling and measuring should not and will not stop if you make the launch a success. So good luck with your reporting, and I hope that I've explained the MuleSoft integrated blueprint in sufficient detail and given you the enthusiasm and ability to create a successful implementation.